on.
Rabbi Isai, welcome back to Yerushalmi Masechet Shabbos. We are 8th Perek. We are the bottom of Samach Vav Amud Beis. Wow, we're getting through this. Rav Simon. We are coming to another din about revius. A liquid revius is considered like a kazayis when it hardens. So, Rav Simon, B'Shem, Rav Shua ben Levi. He said the name of Rav Levi. Maaseh b'perida shal beis Rebbe Shemesa. The mule died. B'tiru dama mishum nevela. They said the blood was not a problem of nevela. Rav Lazar shal Rav Simon at kama. What was the shear that they passed? The blood was tahar. I mean, how far do you go? Every dam kosher is tahar, or a small amount of blood. Rav Simon did not answer his question. Right? They just said it's tahar, but they didn't explain the reason why. Was it completely tahar? It's not considered basa nevela, or maybe it didn't have a shiur. So what was the reason for it? So Rav Shua ben Levi, he asked Rav Shua ben Levi, Amalei, and he answered big. Ad revius tahar, until a revius is tahar. Yes, mikhan is tameh. Obash Rav Lazar. Rav Lazar was a bit upset. So Rav Simon Shmasa, that Rav Simon hadn't given this answer on his question. Rav Bibi Abayazid Masne Aden Uvda. And Rav Bibi was going over this story that the mule died and they passed and the blood was tahar. Amalei, Rizcha Bakahana said to him, to Rav Bibi, how much was it tahar? Was it every kosher everything? Or maybe Ad Revius tahar, maybe until Revius is tahar, Yosem Mikan is tameh, maybe more than that is tameh. So Ba'it Bay, Rav Bibi sort of kicked him. Amalei Rav Zrikan. Rav Zrikan said to him, begin to show lachat vayid, but wait a minute, because I'm asking you something, you push me? Amalei says, he says, I didn't have a clear mind at that time. I was a bit bothered. Kid ma, like Rav Chanin said. Now the Torah talks about the teichacha, right, and the klolos. Your life will be in balance, like hanging. Now, this if you buy wheat for the year. So actually, you're not you're managing really. But then it says, you're worried night and day. You buy grain from the wholesaler, bit by bit, small bits. And you won't believe your lives. You're buying bread daily from a baker. And I, Rabbi Bibi, I rely on the baker. So I didn't have a clear mind to answer the question. So he didn't have a lot of money even to buy for a few days, right? He lived from day to day. And that's why he didn't have a clear mind. Now, what is the halacha then? Is dam nevela tahar completely even revius? My kedun, what's maskana head of Shua ben Beseira? He gave evidence of dam nevela shuhu tahar. The blood is completely tahar, whatever shiur. Ma'u tahar, what do you mean tahar? It could be, not that it's completely tahar, maybe tahar belahachshe, maybe it cannot make food susceptible to receive tumah. It's not considered a mashke, maybe. Or letamos, but to defile food that already is moshe, metame, it would defile. The other one says, Tamantanina, no machshurin we've learned, damasheret, kivsare, the blood of a sheret is like its flesh, is metame. But ain't a machsher, it doesn't make food susceptible to receive tumah if it falls. But ain't lana kiyesaba, there's nothing like it. So there's nothing else which is metame and not machsher. So it must be when the Mishnah brought that dam nevela is tahar, it must be it's completely tahar, not just tahar melahachshe. But then the Gemara answers, doesn't mean there's no other dam apart from sherets that the tummy not machsher. It means ve'ein lana ki yosevai kishir tomasa. We don't have a similar to it. The dam sherets is metame, the same shear that metame of the basa. The blood is like the flesh. It's metame, the size of our dosha, right, like the lentil. We don't have any other blood that has a din like that. It's got metame the same shear. The dam nevela is only metame with the same shear of the sorrow, which is kazayis. It needs a reveal, so it's not the same shear. You understand? But as far as the actual tumah, yes, the blood is metame like his flesh. Now there's actually machlokes to know if dam nevela is tahar completely. Rabbi said, man, the one who says tameh, that is tameh if it's reveals, that is Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda in the Mishnah in Idias, who says machlokes beisham beis Hillel, according to beis Hillel is tameh, and the one who says it's tahar is Rabbi Shua ben Beseira in the other Mishnah who said that dam nevela is tahar. He always used to go from Eretz Yisrael to Bavel, so it was called the downer, because he always went down to Bavel. He says, "But Yos, you're right that the one who says Tameh holds like Yehuda, because Rabbi Yehuda Marayana the Neshiaba, he was the Marayana in the Nasi's house, and when the mule died of Rebbe's Rebbe, they would tie the blood from the Vela, because it was less than a revius, and he must have been the one who gave the psak, so he must be the one that nevela when there's a revius is matame.
But that's the same thing
Right.
we said about it also has to be a revius then.
No, well, with who? With the sherets? Sherets is even a smaller amount. Yeah, but we said, is there something like it or not? The sherets is matame. Sherets is matame, even a smaller share. We don't have anything similar with the same level. That was one opinion, one version of events. But then Rav Yosef is saying it's properly tummy. So then he says, who gave the psak? Rav Yehuda is the one who gave the psak that they were matame because of nevela, because it was less than a revius, but proper revius would be matame. He must be the one who paskin like this. Now, the Gemara brings the brisa. Tani with blood dam, if you carry blood, to put into one eye for the sake of refuah. We're talking about the blood of a bat of some kind, which is apparently good for things in the eye. Chalav, you're carrying milk. The shir is to gargle it. Yeah, give it, swallow it. That is the milk of a kosher animal. A non-kosher animal which you can't drink. The amount you'll put in one eye. Devash, date honey. The shir is to put on a wound. This is a wound on the back of a horse or the back of a camel. Might not be date honey, might be bees honey, I don't know. Might be date honey. This is the old honey which is ruined a bit and you're not going to eat it. But with our honey, then the shir is kedei tabel by a beitza to put a spice to a beitza color to a small egg. Shemen kedei lasacheva cotton, oil to put on a small limb. The vadeva cotton shakot ben yam, a child is very small, and it's very small. It's like a finger of a baby, that sort of amount. Mayim kedei l'shuv segilo is water to put in a sort of eye ointment. That's what we're saying is water of dew sort of thing, which is good for the guys. But on Be'ilah Didan, without water, the amount you'll wash a grinder with it. The Shakal Mashkin, other liquids, reverse. Kol Haloshon, all wastewater is reverse. You're talking about moving water from one house to use in another house. Rav Shimon said Kulam reverse. And back to the Mishnah, we said Kulam reverse. Yeah, the Gemara brings a discussion between the Chacham and Rav Shimon. And they were talking about revius. Mashivin Chacham Rav Shimon. Chiyasha Loma Devash is revius. All drinks are revius. Deihan is revius. Chayma is revius. Vinegar is revius. How can they give the share of a chosh of mashke like deihan to a liquid which is like not important like vinegar? And why should it be the same? Right? If we're following his drinking, how can it be the same as vinegar? Rav Shimon answered, just like Yod Kol Haloshon is serving all foods join up for a share of a grogeres, the dried fig, even though they're not the same in their importance. Okay, Anan Islam, we also hold Kol Mashkin is serving revius. All the liquids join up for revius, even if they're not the same importance. Like the shurim which are less than revius was said for those people who particularly keep these things. You might have thought this is Tanakama, it's not continuation of Rav Shimon. But this din goes against the Stam Mishnah on Samach Dalad, where it says if you carry even the Yochayv on even the smallest amount. So Ramana explains, Ramana Masni'an, Tanakam in our Mishnah is that for those who keep the shir is Kosher, smallest amount. Right? But Tani came, we also learned Ad Rabbanan, we've learned about the shit of the Chachamim, these shirim were said for normal people who carry these things, not for those who go and hide them away and then carry them. People who particularly keep these things, kosher in the smallest amount, if they took them returning again, we also learned that Rav Shimon, we also learned the price of the shit of Rav Shimon. These shirim are for the people who keep them on Moitzion, but if you just carry it without keeping it first, then the shir is berevius. Okay, halacha base. And now, shir hatzah of various things. Let's start with ropes. You carry a rope from one domain to another. The share is that it should be in its length. You'll make a handle for a box to strengthen it, to hold it. Gemi, it was like some sort of reed. The share is, it should be as long as to lie, to make some sort of chain, like a hanging loop sort of thing. L'naf of l'kfara for various tips. Rabbi Yehuda said it should be long enough. To make a shoe for a child. Yeah. Now the Mishnah comes to the shurim or various types of paper. Niyah, you carry paper. The shir is going to write on it a receipt. They would use the receipt as a receipt for paying a tax or paying a transport fee. Yeah? Some sort of congestion charge. Well, not exactly. But some sort of fees for using a mode of transport. You got a receipt that you'd paid it. Let's say you're on a boat. When you got on the boat, you got your receipts. You can show it to the guy at the other end to say, look, I paid. If one carries this sort of receipt, chayav is chayav for carrying it. Niyah machuk, a paper which was written on it but now is rubbed out, which is not used for writing, is to use as a cover or top for a bottle. Kitana shel plaitan, some sort of incense or perfume bottle, and to seal it. Amosi chavel, a rope to make a handle for a box. That's what we said. Bahach behen rekicha, the soft ropes, which are still soft, you can bend it and make a handle for a box. But the hard ones, they're only going to be birds, so it's the fuel, levashel basic color to make an easy egg, a small egg. Gami, which sort of reads, to make what's it called, a hanging loop or a sieve or whatever it is. I don't know, that's all very well, but gaba, with like the inner side of this reed, which is soft, you can use it for that purpose. But with the outer bit, which is hard, is not fitting, then you're not chayiv if you catch it, unless you're going to make sort of two loops for these things. You're carrying the date palm leaves, the shears you make a handle for this Egyptian basket. Again, that's with the soft ones, but with the hard ones, then to make a sort of round bit around the palm, around the wick of the basket. I don't know what they call it, some sort of crown you make around it. Maybe a bit at the top. Basically, it was a strengthening mechanism, you see. So you make a round thing around the basket to strengthen it in place. If you carry two of these branches of the decal, chayav, because they're fitting to make a basket. Similarly, tere decal, which are threads from the base around a date palm. The chiv if you carry shnaim, if you carry two of them. Zemairos, various branches of vines. Im lenetia, if it is for planting, the chiv is shtaim, for two of them. Im lebehema, if it is for animal food, then the chiv of carrying is kamlai pigidi, how much the goat will eat. Im le'etzim, if it's for fuel, then b'shir be'etzim, then the shir like normal fuel, which is to cook a small egg. If you take two hairs of zanav asus, the horse's tail, of zanav apara, the cow's tail, chayiv, you're liable. They use them to trap birds, for making nets to trap birds. V'zifei chazir, hairs of the swine. Some say you're chayiv on carrying shtayim. Some say achas one of them. Ma'adam shtayim, the one who said two, with the soft ones. Ma'adam achas, one who said one. With the hard ones. Galinim, which are pips of dates, if they're linitia, if they're for planting, you're chayav on shtayim, on two of them. Im lebehema, if they're for animal eating, the chayav is k'malei pi chazir, how much the pig will eat. The kamu malei pi, how much does the chazir eat? So achas, it only eats one. Acherim, others say, it's if they're there to remind you of some sort of mathematical reckoning, then you're only chayav chamish until you actually take 5 of them. Right. Sia, ezoi, v'kornis, types of grasses. If you're using them for eating, let's say for people to eat, you're chayav on the shake grogos, like a dried fig. If it's for an animal, how much the kid goat will eat. If it's for fuel, the fuel will share fuel. If it's to sprinkle the red ashes, the ashes of the red heifer, mace, then you're chayav on kashir hazar, the amount of the hyssop which is fitting for sprinkling. Rabbi Yehuda said, they're taking the reeds, the size of a shoe for a small child. Providing it's a child that knows how to wear a shoe. You carry the transport receipt, you are liable. If you carry the ajle before you show it to the governor there, the man in charge on the second side of the river, you're liable. But once you've already showed it, you've gone crossed over, and you showed it to him, then then you're not liable because there's no importance. It's got no use after that. Rabbi Yehuda said, even if you show after showing it to the guy, you're still liable. You can show it to another one and use it again. Sometimes you have to prove from it elsewhere that you're a trustworthy person, usually, and pay your taxes. And they don't think you're trying to cheat the taxman. And you prove it by receiving things from various other tax people. Okay. Now, we've also got, if you've got a shtar chayv, an IOU which has been signed off and paid off. If you carry a IOU document, actually roll about before you show it to the creditor until you pay back the debt, you are liable. Once you've paid back the debt, party or patur, because then it's not there for anything. Even if you show it to the creditor, if the debtor carries it, you can show it to someone else that you want to borrow to show that you are a trustworthy person. Paper which is not fitting for writing, the amount to put in your bottle. If you have a smooth area which is not rubbed out, to carry 2 letters, you are liable. Or if you're carrying skins of an animal which is not fully tanned, the shear is to make an amulet. Yeah, klaf, other parchment, to write a small parchment to fit in, which is Shema Yisrael. Di, ink, is enough to write 2 letters. Kaichel, which is a sort of an eye color, the shear is amount to put in 1 eye. Zemes v'gafris, so pitch and sulfur, various things, to close a keli, to seal up a keli, and to make a hole in the middle of that. Shava, carrying wicks, not wicks, wax. Wicks is something very different. Can I listen up in neck of cotton to put on a small hole to seal it up? Or carrying skins, can I last to make an amulet? This is something can I listen on a kamea to cover over a kamea. Right? Something you sort of cover it over with that. Mandam, the one who says can I last kamea, then rakicha is the soft one. So mandam, can I listen on a to put on a kamea, then kasha is with the hard one. Klaf, which is Shehi Shema Yisrael. That which you're saying, the klaf, the shifts to write small pasha, is B'kailef B'ne'ah. When you take the face of the skin, like the inner part of the skin, facing the flesh, that's the klaf, which is kasha for tefillin. But on Bahen Dochsustin, now the other side of it, the outer side, which is called Dochsustas, is only kasha for mezuzah. So the shir is there's going to be enough size to write 2 pashas mezuzah. Di, the shir is to write 2 letters. If you carry ink, in bekummas is on a square on a pen. The left of is to write 2 letters. In bekli is in a vessel where something is absorbed in the size of the vessel. Then you need a bigger shir to be enough to write 2 letters, apart from what gets stuck in the sides of the vessel. Now the din of carrying the mei chatas, the efa paraduma, on top of the water, the shir kadei azia, right? What is the shir kadei azia of sprinkling? Tamantanim, we don't come here b'mayim. How much must be in the mei chatas yevim kadei azia in order to be sprinkling, to be metame, the one who carries it? Rashi Giva, it's a basis where you can dip in the tops of the hyssop and sprinkle with it. So you need to have a shir kadei azia. Rabbi Yirmiyah, he asked if the diy needs to be a bigger shir. Sabra, does it make more sense that as far as mechatos in bekli, that if you're carrying a keli, so you need more than the shir of dipping the ends in and sprinkling? Because basically you've got to add the water that gets stuck in the keli. So why does the Tanna just say just the share of the sprinkling, how much it absorbs? He just basically you add the share which is which the grass absorbs, but not that which gets absorbed in the keli. A very good question. We have no answer. Some say Rabbi Yirmiyah learns this in halacha. It's not a question. Some say it's not actually a question at all. Okay. Koichel, to put in the eye, the color for the eye, for 1 eye. Now, why is that a shir? to go out with it, usually the women do both eyes. So why are you chayav on the shear to do one eye? He says, yeah, she might do even one eye and go out because then she'll go in the market. No one does that. He says, she might have a pain in one eye, and therefore she can't colour that eye. So she'll colour the other eye because then she can go to the market. Who is the Tana who says, you don't think she's worried about her eye? He says the shir is to do one eye. A woman might just do one eye and sort of hide the other one so it can't be seen, and she'll go in the market. As it says in the pasuk, you love me with one of your eyes. So you see, it's the derech that sometimes you only open one eye. He says, like this dye, which is enough to do one eye, is like a shear, a woman who's blind, in one of her eyes, she'll only bother coloring the other one, and she'll go to market. Zevres v'gafres, kedelas is naked to make a hole. Talking about someone who, he says it's like raw silver. You use the gofres, the silver, sort of to close the vessel which it's in. Don't know what they say there. It says here, kesef chai, I don't know, they use silver to seal a keli which it's found in. I don't know what that means. They leave silver in a reed, and you close the vessel with sulfur, and you make a little hole in the lid or something like that. Shaba of wax, can I lead it up in naked cotton to put a small hole? Tony over here, can I lead it up in said cotton to put it on a small hole, even if it's a bit crack, which is smaller than a hole. Devek. What's Devek? Glue? Yeah? Can I lead it in Rosh Shabbos? Now you'll put this at the end of a stick, which you use to catch birds. You'll put some glue there to catch the birds. Chasis is earthenware k'leilas pikur. This is to make an opening of an oven. Shel sofei zahav of gold craftsman. Rabbi Yehuda, he said k'leilas is pitzput. It's like a tripod where the oven is standing on. Subin, various bran and things. K'leilas pikur shel sofei zahav. You put it and you will. What do? You put it on this oven, this golden oven. Some of these shells of the grain. And the seeds, when it comes to various lime and things like that, the amount to smear onto a girl to remove her hair. Rabbi Yehuda said kilkul, to put on her sides of her head to smoothen out the hairs which are on top of it. Rabbi Nechemia to smooth it on the forehead. Ma'ochas is white earth. Shmuel says offer with earth. The shear is going to cover over the blood of a small bird. Tani Shmuel we learn offer ve'efer, earth and ash, or either of them. The shear is going to cover over the blood of a small bird. Yeah, there's machlokes in Bavli. Beisham Beis Hillel, can you do mitzvahs kisei adam with ash? And the Brisa Shmuel holds like Beis Hillel. You can do the mitzvah with ash. So the shear is to cover over a small bird. Shmuel himself mentions offer because he took the din according to everyone. Everyone holds the birth. It's not with ash. Okay. Tell you Shmuel offer ve'efer k'dei lachas b'dam. Yeah. Tani we've learned to the Brisa Charas Kol Shehu. To what this sort of earthen where the smallest amount. Gemi Kol Shehu read most of the time b'tocha bayis. They're not muksa. Because they're fitting for a thing, they're called a keli. The hesed to move is that tonight they should be prepared to use, but if they're not ready to use, like you've thrown it away, they're muksa. The tiny cables, you have a stopper of a barrel which got broken, and the other broken pieces. You're allowed to move them on Shabbos, they're not muksa. Once you've thrown it away, we cannot touch it because it's muksa. Now we said Sid, according to Yehuda, the shear is to make various things, smearings on the side of the head or whatever, or to make handifi on the forehead. Rabbi Yehuda is right with the Sid, which is mixed with water and is made in the shape of an egg, that is fitting for the size of the head. Rabbi Nechemia is with the Sid, which is with a lot of water and it sort of disintegrates, which is fitting for the forehead. Adama, carrying earth, which is used for seals and stamps. The shir is gechosim asuvin, the amount to make a seal, big bags of merchandise. He said gechosim ha'igros, like a seal where you sign letters with it. Zevel, manure, v'chol dak, or thin sand, zabel to fertilize. Kelach shall kruv, one stalk of cabbage. Divra b'kiva chachom, they say zabel kresha, to do manure for an area of a leak. Chol gas, sort of thick sand, which is not really fitting for fertilizer. To put it on, to mix it in a cup, a spoon full of sid, like the people making lime. Kana, you carry a sort of a reed, the shears should be long, and it lasts was enough to make a pen. Higher ava, if it was thick, or it was a bit smashed, which you can't use, it's only used for fuel. Making it the mashal base and kalash base in the normal shear for food. For fuel is to cook a small egg. Churufa, when it is mixed with oil, with a sort of ilvis and it's in the pan, and through this it will hurry up to cook. Kana, the shear of a reed, can ask us to make a quill. It must be this length. It must reach the ends of your fingers. Right? It's going to be that size to make a kulmus. I understand your chayav, it reaches to the ends of your upper fingers, where they're connected between the finger and your hand. But maybe your chayav also until it reaches the knots in the actual fingers themselves. Even a bit shorter, as long as it reaches till your finger bent. Maybe that's good enough. Mantan, who is the one who holds machtev? Machtev is a writing implement. One edge is sharp to write on the wax, and one end is thick to rub out the writing which is engraved in the wax. So they can go right back, right again. So you got machtev shenitala kosev, where the edge which you write with has gone away. Tameh is now tameh, it's fitting to receive tumah, it's still a keli, but now moicha, because it's got the other end which can rub things out. Nitala moicha, if that's gone, then it's tameh, now kosev, because of the writing bit. Now, Zero Boy asks, Nichad Kacha, I understand that if you've got a bit of writing to your top fingers, it's a keli, you can receive tumah. But Dilma Ad Hacha, are you going to say even if it only reaches the folds in the middle of your finger, is that still considered a keli? You can receive tumah. Oh, said Kol Beisa to Taninan. But kelim, whenever we refer to eggs in Mazachas kelim, like we've learned, the Gemar Malach of Akira is fitting to receive tumah when you can take the fuel and cook an egg and so on. It's Kebeisa Mamash. It means the proper egg. But Shabbos, when we mention the Shir Beisa on Shabbos, then the Kaman is Kashik Groigris. It's a dried fig. Mikabeisa. Doesn't mean an egg itself, right? It means a dried fig shit. Right? So Melechas Shabbos about eating, grinding, Katsira, it's got to be Grogris. Grogeret, yeah? It's less than an egg. Is it a third of an egg or is it half an egg? Okay. Halach above. With me, Rabbi say? Etzem. A bone. K'lei lasses tava, to make a sort of tava, it's some sort of spoon. Rabbi Yonah, said k'lei lasses chaf, to make a chaf. Now a chaf, the one will explain. Zechuch is glass, k'lei ligra barosh hakarkad. Glass to, you have a sharp piece of wood, and it separates the threads. So the glass sort of separates it. Sorora eben, pebbles or stones, k'lei nizrek ba'if, to throw at a bird. Rabbi Lezvin Yaakov says k'lei nizrek b'beheba, to throw on an animal in order to get it to run away. Etzem k'lei lasses tavad. Etzem is to make a spoon. Rabbi Yonah k'lei chaf, to make a chaf. Ma'u chaf. But what is chaf? Saragid. It's the teeth which are in a lock. So chaf is the teeth within the lock. Now, Taman Taninan, in Kalim we've learned, if you had chafin but not kovin, nitlu achapin, if the tooth are taken away, tameh, it's still fitting to receive tumah. Still a Kalim and a kovin, because of the holes in it. Nistatma and a kovin, if the holes get blocked up, it's tameh, can receive tumah, but it still has the teeth in there. So this Mishnah is, even according to Yehuda, So he said, we have a contradiction in Yehuda. Because what does the word chaf mean? Taman, and there who abel chaf balut. There he treats chaf as the teeth of the lock. Here he calls it the teeth of the. Is it the teeth of the key, or is it the key teeth of the lock? And that seems to be a contradiction. Yeah, is it the teeth on the key itself, or is it the teeth on the lock, and they have to work together? Zechoches comes to glass. We said Rosh Hakadkad is choshev, it's important. Now we have another Mishnah which talks about moving muktzah. Taman tani. That's what we learned. Now this is kelim which broke on Shabbos. All kelim are permitted. They're not muktzah on Shabbos because the broken pieces are not muktzah, provided they can still do the same job they used to do, like broken glass and so on, to cover a container, whatever it is. Rav Yehuda, right? Rav Yehuda said they've got to do the similar job to what they used to do. Shazachoches, broken piece of glass, to pour oil in it. So you see, glass which hasn't got enough to cover this lid is not got importance. But here in our Mishnah you're saying differently, that even if there is enough to put like the head of this karka, basically it's smaller than covering a container, but it still has importance, and you'll be chayav on Hosah, even though it's smaller than a bottle top. Let's say that again. Rabbi Cohen, and he says like this: B'shem Rabbanan Tekisrin, can when you say this glass piece to cover a bottle is a keli, but ava with a thick one which you can't use for the other purposes. Rosh Hakadkad you can't use for anything else, right? We can't be using it for various other things. Okay. Whereas here, whereas here we're talking about a sharp piece of glass which you can use for this other purpose. How did we explain Rosh Hakadkad? We said, it's to be chayav because of Haitzah. It's the eight which is made for separating the threads. Right, so the question is it sharp, is it not sharp? Can it help to separate the threads or not? Is by me, but some say can't be mitata, him talking about moving it on Shabbos, but it can, but both him talking about carrying it on Shabbos. And the Shechilv is not the same, not like this one, they're not like the same. Excuse me. Tzoraya Evan can Israel Baif. It's done to throw at a bird. Shimba Abab Shem Rav Yochanan. Gadesh Yisrael Lachari, if you throw it behind the bird, the Yagish, the bird realizes that similarly, it's going to be a bit bigger to throw it at an animal to make it run away. It's going to be enough. Kadesh Yisrael Lachari Be'ema B'Targit. You throw it behind the animal, and it realizes and it feels its feelings. Feels being hit. Now, using a pebble on Shabbos to wipe oneself. Tani Mulan. Sarar Mikozal. There's a sharp pebble which is fitting to wipe oneself with. What is the shit to be chayav on Shabbos for? Can you use? You're allowed to take 3 pebbles, where each one is a kazais. Okay, egos or kabesa, an olive, the nut, and the egg. No, like you can take it and wipe himself. He said, yad. There's no fixed one, basically a handful. Rabbi Yehuda he said, right, to spend Zayin and Yosef for Shoida, he was teaching this price of Rabbi. He said, according to the Kamba this is what we say, that before you wipe, you have to weigh up. But yad, how much these pebbles weigh? So it's a gazayis, it's an egos, it's a kabesa, you have to weigh that up. Doesn't make sense. He said, everything's permitted. You can use all the pebbles which are movable. There's no difference how big they are. Providing that we shouldn't take the ones which are inside a keli. Rabbi Ilav Shem Rabbi Yana, he says, Yeshnai, there is a shiur which they allow you to carry, usually for the sake of wiping, is Kimlai Regel Meducha Shekatana Shel Boisam, which is like a perfume container stopper sort of thing. Rabbi Yisrael said, that is the share of this amount is like this incense in it, a stopper where you have one sort of incense in it each time. So it's a small stopper, a small container. They don't allow you the regular meducha, big one, where they put many types of incense in it. Now, another dinner Rav Ela with a heter to use these pebbles. Rav Ela Shem Lakish. You've got grasses that grown on this thing. You can still take it and wipe oneself, even though the grasses will fall off. It's not your intention. But if you detach grasses on it on Shabbos, you are liable. Cheres kolshu. Cheres, earthen waves the smallest amount, also like a nach. You cannot wipe with it even on the weekday because of sakana. Not only cheres is the issue, you shouldn't use earthenwares. Chashash sakana has got sharp edges. It will tear your skin. And I feel even handles of barrels which are smooth, they don't burn the flesh, they don't tear the flesh. If they're made of cheres, you shouldn't wipe with them. And anything that goes into the fire can come out, but the fire doesn't burn it. You shouldn't wipe with it because it's a sakana of magic. If someone else used it first, or mayim, and water that's been taken from an area, you don't have fortisah, also one should not wipe with that. If a dog has been licking away, also don't wipe with that. Do not use the things that have been in the mouth of a dog, have been in front of the dog, whenever the dog has licked from it, or from water which hasn't got 40 star. Some of these things really lead to various diseases. Some say the issur is there's ruach ra on these things. Okay? The Bavli doesn't mention problems of water, like the water which the dog has drunk. Some say Eretz Yisrael they used to wipe with water, and Bava they didn't do it with water. So maybe that's why it's not brought in the Bavli, because they never used to use that and do that in Bavli. Okay. Abahan, the Meshazek Gov Bebani, the water that they flush out the sewers. Behind the Meshazek Ambitasa, the water that they flush out the baths. Ra le tabais is not good. It's not good for some internal things. Five things are said with a sort of reed. Do not slaughter with it. Don't do brisim. Don't use it as a toothpick. Don't count the meat on the table with this because of the splinters that come away. Don't wipe oneself with it because ruach ra is upon it. Cheres. Halacha 7. Cheres. You're putting it between various boards. When they're put one on top of the other, they shouldn't become twisted. You might put something to straighten them. To pass a burning coal. Rabbi Yossi, he said, the shear is to hold a reverse of water. Rabbi said, there's no proper raya that the shear of cheres is to pass a coal. But there's a hint to it. It says, so it's a reference to cheres and fire. So the sheer importance of cheres is to stoke a fire. He said, Misham, I want to bring from there. The pasuk finishes to pour water migaba from a pit. So cheres is fitting to receive some water, so it has importance. Okay, cheres to put it between various boards to straighten them. Now, can you use a broken kli cheres for kiddush mechatos, for the waters of the red heifer? Rabbi Yochanan, he said a broken kli cheres mekachim, but yes, you can use it to hold the waters of the red heifer. Shimei Lakish, he says mekachim, no, you can't use it. Rabbi Lazar sadati, Rish Lakish, la mekachim, but why can't you use mechatos in a broken kli cheres? If you're going to say mnei mekabel tuba, that's not right. Sharei klei galalim, kalim made of dung, which is dried out, klei avanim, klei adama, stone kalim, and earth kalim. They don't receive tuba, and yet mekachim ahead you can use it for mechatas. And he says the reason why you can't use mechatas is she'ena mekabel revius. It can't hold a revius, but that's not right because lo matter of shem v'glicheres shukatan shalim, even a small whole one which only has the shir kosher shemekachim, you can use it. So he agrees with that. So it's partial. The reason is not because it cannot hold a revius. However, last time you have to say the reason is that it doesn't look like a keli. Kiddush mechatos is a nosan olav ma'im chaim el keli. Now, So we ask more against Rabbi Yochanan. Holds you can be mekadosh with a broken keli kli cheres, even if it doesn't hold a revis. But kasha Rabbi Yochanan, but we can't hold a revis. Live sadas hamikvah. Now, therefore, as far as if it can't hold a revis, live sadas hamikvah to pasal a mikvah as maim shuvim eina poisel. It's not considered a keli for that. Or the kaddish mekachim boy, and you want to use it for meichatos. How can it be? It can't pasal, and you want to use it to be mekadesh. And Rabbi Yosef said, also for like a cheres pipe sort of thing. If you've got a base kibble, you need a small amount. It's enough to be a keli to pass on a mikveh. Right? Water has to go straight in the mikveh, right? It can't go through a pipe. So the smallest pipe is enough to pass all the water in the mikveh, right? So that's why he tells, a broken cheres, which holds less than revis, is a keli for meichatos because it can pass on a mikveh. Kluma Rabbi Yosef Yerushalmi. Rabbi Yosef is talking about kli cheres which is whole. Are you going to talk about a broken one? Are you going to say there? He said his words. That can't be. You can't tell Rabbi Yosef the makar of the Rabbi Yochanan. The Gemara then comes along. The machlokes between Rabbi Yochanan and Shlokish. Tony Rabbi Chiv lo din advice sayala Rabbi Yochanan to support Rabbi Yochanan. You can be mekadesh with a broken kli cheres which hasn't got revis. Tony Rabbi Shimon Bechai he learns in a brayso sayala Rabbi Shimon Lokish. He learned you cannot be mekadesh in a broken kli cheres which has not got a revis. All right, Hadron Allah, I might see.